I've got you, and I can see you.
Okay, awesome.
How are you, mate?
Good, brother. You good, and you?
I'm good. How's LA?
Oh, mate, unreal, eh? It's obviously taken a while for us to settle in here, and because of COVID, we went to 4 weeks in Hawaii for training camp there, then back to Oxnard, which is about probably an hour and a half out of LA on a training camp there. And basically after round 2, we got settled into the places. So everything took a bit of time, but eventually we got there.
Is that because of COVID?
100% because of COVID, yeah. We first would have set camp up in Utah and after Hawaii, but then they got around it. And so, yeah, we basically stayed in like a training camp where I think the Dallas Cowboys also go every year for training camps, which is like a little village on its own with training fields and everything there. So we were pretty isolated there.
Mate, that's pretty cool. So how's LA now? Is everything almost back to normal?
Yeah, everything's basically back to normal. I'd say I think it's basically just outside dining, but mate, it looks like everything. If you look in the streets, everything's back to normal. Obviously, the face masks and still when you're in and about. But yeah, no, beaches are packed. Everything looks good.
Because I could imagine like one of the biggest appeals of being in LA would be going to sport, going to do all the different sightseeing things and getting out and about. Yeah. So have you guys managed to be able to do that, or are you still in a little bit of a bubble?
Yeah, look, fortunate enough, the bubble with us is definitely out because most of the boys are basically free to roam whenever they can. So we live, like where I live, it's in a Hermosa beach. I can see the beach straight from my apartment. And I probably 6 of the other boys live in the same block. So the boys are out and about, and yeah, most of the boys, as we obviously want to get around the whole sporting events of LA and that sort of stuff. I haven't gotten to that yet, but we've got time. So slowly but certainly that will come.
So how did the whole LA thing come about for you?
Yeah, it's good. I actually get that a lot. So basically last year, 2020, my final year at the Reds, I was unsure of if I still wanted to play Super Rugby. I still had the ambition to play, but my body was basically, mate, I just had niggles and I couldn't get through trainings and everything 100%. And it started bugging me mentally. And then all of a sudden, Stephen Woyles got in contact with me and said they basically looking for to set up a franchise. That was early January 2020. So then everything went pretty quiet. And then, around September and stuff, things started happening quick. And look, they pretty much sold me on DC. DC, the head coach, was very approachable guy and FaceTimed us occasionally. And he was pretty persuasive about the sort of thing he wants to achieve here and new beginning and new, basically starting something fresh and leaving a legacy here. And basically sold us on LA, the lifestyle. And so that was the big attraction for me.
I thought Ruan was going to go as well.
Yeah, no, he was going to go, mate. He basically, the visa, the person that handles all the visas and stuff, his visa basically just got onto the table of the wrong person. They've spent thousands and thousands of dollars to try and get him here, but it just couldn't happen, mate. Like our rugby careers, everything basically very similar. And mine went very smooth. Like I didn't have any dramas at all. But his is just unfortunate. And a couple of the boys struggled as well, but for some reason they just don't want to grant him his.
Okay, so that's unfortunate. But he ended up back at the Reds anyway, didn't he?
Yeah. He was there to cover a bit of training and or injury spot, or when Fiao was sent for a red card. So he just went back there.
That's a shame because it would have been fun for you guys to share all that together. But I guess with the way the world is at the moment, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, 100%. It is what it is, mate. And I think he's in a good space where he is now. I think he's playing a bit of club rugby for brothers, but he's also close to his daughter, which is a very bonus. So it's a bittersweet thing for him as well. But I think he's moved on. I think the biggest thing for him was just that for 3 or 4 months waiting that nothing happened. Then they have to. So yeah, but now he's got the verdict. Now he can just move on to bigger things. So his next chapter.
So how many years have you signed for?
I've signed 2 years. So this and next year.
So once the season's done, you're just gonna stay there the whole time, or you're gonna come back, or it'll all depend on what they let you do travel wise?
Yeah, no, 100%. For me, I think the first year I'll stay here because obviously with a newborn and that sort of stuff, I don't want to travel a lot, and it's good, man. I've got 2-3 months. Then I'll definitely look into the traveling and all the sightseeing and things I want to do, experience LA, maybe go a bit down to Mexico and that sort of stuff, do all that sort of stuff. So it gives me a bit of time to do that then.
Mate, absolutely. So let's talk about the footy. So you guys are in the Western Conference and you're currently undefeated.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, I've heard a few people say that LA is the best Australian franchise, Super Rugby franchise.
Yeah, no, mate. Look, it's going well. Like the setup is super rugby standard, you know. So I think that's where maybe the other teams are lacking a bit. I think DC and Wolsey being in the super rugby environments in the past, and they've created that sort of environment for us. And obviously players like Gitz and Adam Ashikupa and Dave Dennis, with the standards they set for the players, I mean, you have to buy in or it won't work for you.
Yeah, so you've obviously been around players like that before, but for some of the younger guys like Charlie Abel, some of the Randwick guys that I think are there, is it a big step up for them?
Mate, 100%. But I think once again, DC recruited so well that he knows the blokes, the guys, those younger guys will definitely just buy into everything and won't ask questions. So, mate, I think he's got a massive good brain for the sort of recruitment, and I think Wolsey also, and obviously Adam Fryer played a massive role in it as well. So I think that he got the right certain players to come with no egos and just to come and buy in and work hard.
What's Wolsey's role?
Wolsey's a forwards and defence coach. So he's basically
DC's the head coach and attack coach, and then you got Adam Fryer. What's he doing for you guys?
He's the general manager. He's just the head of everything, so recruiting and that sort of stuff. And then we've got Alex Corbacero, which is a scrum coach. Yeah. And so those three are the big ones. Yeah.
What's it like working with him? I've followed him on social media. He seems like a out there sort of confident guy.
No, he's a good man. Very, very out there, very comfortable. He knows his stuff, man. He's very, very passionate about it. So if you get someone like that involved, you see the passion, the time he puts into everything, you're gonna get buy-in from the players. So I think he's managed that sort of aspect well.
Maybe, let's talk about you guys. When did you guys move to Australia? You and Ruan, because you're from South Africa originally.
Yeah, right. So we moved back. We moved to 2006. We went to Toowoomba Grammar in Toowoomba for 1 year, and then we went back to finish school in South Africa, with always the idea of coming back straight after school, which was 2010. But then we stayed on under contract with Western Province for 2 years, end of 2010. Then we decided to move back fully because my parents stayed behind to sort everything out and that. So end of 2010, we moved back, and when we couldn't play professional rugby for 3 years because of the visas. And obviously that young in your age, if you want to get a professional gig in Australia, you count as a foreigner, and they won my foreign spots on experienced players. So basically just stuck it out, played club rugby for 3 years, and then ended up at the Brumbies. So Jake White went to Brumbies. He remembered us at school in South Africa, and so that's basically how we got into the mix.
So why did you come to Australia? Was it always going to happen, or was it due to anything going on over there? Or
no, to be blatantly honest, mate, my parents saw how the future is going to end up there. Basically, they made the decision that they didn't see a bright future for us as a family, safety wise, and that sort of stuff. So they made the decision to move over and start a new life, and made it 100%. It worked out today, and with no regrets. Look back now, best decision they've ever made.
Right, absolutely. So you go to the Brumbies. How old were you and Ruan? Because you signed at the same time, or were you slightly ahead?
Oh no, he was slightly ahead. So I came about 6 months later. So
Okay.
we were 20, Ruan was 22. We were both at 22 actually, 22, 23. And then 23, I think 2014. It's 18, 23, yeah.
So you're not young, but you're not old either. So what was it like for you guys walking into, the Jake White Brumbies? Obviously a World Cup winning coach. I imagine he's quite a big deal in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's a big deal in the rugby world, full stop. What was it like walking in there?
Maybe 100%. No, it was very eye-opening because obviously playing club rugby for 3 years, the professionalism he brought, mate, he believed the rugby job is a full-time job. So he created an environment. You come in at 7 o'clock and you leave at 4 o'clock, and that's it. So it was very eye-opening, tough to start at. Obviously, as a youngster, you're not used to that sort of but that sort of direction you needed. You know what I mean? So maybe you basically get spoon-fed. And that's when we started getting into good habits and obviously getting used to that sort of stuff and the professionalism, which was good.
What front row boys were there when you guys first started?
So it was Palms, Dan Palmer, Benny Alexander, Scotty Seo, and my brother, and Rory Murphy. So they were the top 5, and I came in as the 6th.
Okay, so obviously someone like Benny A, so he would have been one of the senior guys when you were there, probably almost towards the end. Yeah, no,
100%. So Benny A he was actually playing loose head, and Palms were playing tight head, and Palms were doing the scrums and all that sort of stuff at that time as well. So they were the boys starting, and then Scotty was, I think Rory actually started, and then Scotty took Rory past at some stage, and then I can't remember who was the other tight. No, so long ago, mate. But Palms got injured quite early that year. Yeah. I remember it's a British and Irish Lions here as well. And then, he missed most of it. And then Scotty came through and Benny started tight head.
So how many years did you end up staying there all up?
So 2013, 14 and 15, 3 years. My brother stayed there a bit longer.
Did you win a title when you were there?
No, I was on 23rd man, but we played this final in 2013.
Okay,
but we lost against the Chiefs.
That's right. So after the Brumbies, what happened next for you?
Okay, so then I got an offer to go back to South Africa at the Stormers for 2 years. So which was at that stage the wrong decision for me personally. Like I fell a bit off the bandwagon there in South Africa, lifestyle and that sort of stuff. So I got off the plane. I was injured and basically, things didn't go as planned.
Is Stormers Cape Town?
Yeah, that's right, Stormers.
I've never heard a prop say anything bad about Cape Town.
No, it's good, mate. It's a good lifestyle, and if you don't have discipline there, you'll get in trouble.
That's a good way of saying it. So did you end up spending the 2 years there, or you? Because I vaguely recall it, and then you did like 1 year, and then came back. Is that right?
Yeah, I did 1 year and I came back, and I just struggling a bit mentally and that sort of stuff, and I wasn't enjoying it. Like I said, I fell in bad groups, and off the field I had problems, and then basically I decided to come back and call it quits. And so then I came back. I went to that was 2016. So 2017. Jake White was, and then while that, my brother was doing Brumbies Japan. So Jake White was that stage with Toyota Verblitz. And then Jake White asked my brother, would I come over just to do a bit of training and do a bit of covering because I had a few injuries. I said, yes, why not? So they paid for my ticket, stayed there for 3 weeks. 3 weeks ended in a month. 1 month ended in 7-8 months. So I basically fixed my body there, got right, and then I actually went back to Australia to renew my visa because Jake wanted to keep me there. And then Paul Carosa at the stage, I think, saw on my Instagram I was in Brisbane. And then next day I got a message from I can't remember, from Sam Cordingley, I think. And then they asked if I'm interested in coming back to the Reds. And I jumped on it. So, went back to Japan, finished the season there. And then straight into 2018, end of 2017, I jumped into preseason with the Reds.
How was Jake White's reaction?
No, he was he didn't quite like it, but he supported me because at that stage, you know, I wouldn't have really played a lot in Japan. I was just basically because Jake White believes in the whole group. If your training squad is strong, the whole squad will develop. So I was basically one of those players there, and he tried to keep me there, but at the end of the day, he understood it. So no, he supported me with it.
Okay, so you've agreed to go to the Reds. Now, that was Brad Thorne's first year?
Yeah, that's correct.
So what was he like when you walked in there? What was your first impressions? Because he's a bit of a legend.
Yeah, no, 100%. So first session, when I agreed, and it was Thorny first wanted to train with me, and then so I went in. Fuck, I was nervous. Like
he wanted to do like gym with you or something.
Yeah, he wanted to do a session with me first, and then
so, have you ever experienced that before?
No, never. So it was pretty intimidating. But yeah, we got it done, and the next day, my agent Darren Murphy, we got the paper signed, and yeah, the 2 years were signed from there.
Okay, what was your initial impressions? Because it's quite a young Reds team. I imagine you and Ruan were a couple of the older boys at that point.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of young guys who have now gone on to do some pretty good things. What was it like that first year?
It was pretty, especially when I look back at the times at the Brumbies, like when you had the likes of Scott Fardy, Benny A, Palms, all those boys, you know, Sam Carts, Clyde Rathbone. That was the total opposite from at the Reds. Like Thorny scrapped everything from the start and basically started over. Like I think at that stage I had maybe 30 or 40 Super Rugby, 35 Super Rugby's, and that was some of the most. Except Slips was there. You had with the odd one or two that was there, Scotty Higginbotham and those boys. But once those boys would have gotten injured, we would have been in a bit of trouble. So the depth wasn't there. But it was actually a good environment, mate. Like everyone was there to work hard. You could see everyone was really hungry at that stage. Obviously, it didn't go far as the first year or two, but I eventually knew it's going to go well.
What about Brad as a coach? How was his coaching style at the start, and did it evolve over your time there?
That's a good question. Now, at the start, I find it quite difficult, but what he really brought was the mental side of things and the standards of. But what the last year and a half, 2 years, I would say, when I was at the Reds, he turned around like that. Incredible human being, very approachable. And yeah, I think he had a lot of pressure, but no, he was a whole total different person. So he was quite hard to approach, and you were half scared of him, you know. But the last 2 years, and I think that's why the Reds are so successful at this moment, because it's all of the environment he created. I think he half relaxed a bit and changed himself as well. And the boys found that very relaxing. Like, fuck, you were scared to make a training mistake and that sort of stuff because he'd get up you, but now he's much more relaxed. He's friendly. You see him smiling and all that sort of stuff. So that made a massive difference.
I could imagine, because when he first started coaching with you guys, he pretty much only just finished playing, and like the way he was as a player, absolute legend. So he probably just translated what he knew as a player would work for him into a coach, and it probably took him a couple of years to adapt. Is that fair?
Yeah. 100%. That's a great, and I've never actually thought about that. But now that you say it, it's spot on. Like, I think he expected the standard that he had himself that everyone had to have. You know, instead of the boys learning to do that, he expected it straight away. And by the standards that he had when he was a player, I mean, that's why he played with. Not everyone had that, and once he realized not everyone can that, but he installed that sort of standards, then things started changing.
Well, I look at it like this as well. Like, if you look at some of the young guys, particularly at the Waratahs now, they're learning how to play, like Harry Johnson-Holmes, who I think is becoming a good tight end prop. He's learning how to play tight end prop at Super Rugby level, you know, rather than doing it at club level. And like Brad was learning how to coach at Super Rugby level. So it's going to take time to adapt.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's once again, that's a good what do you call it? Way to look at it. Like, look, I mean, Harry Johnson Holmes. I think throwing those guys in the deep end, that's the only way, the quickest way you will learn. And as a coach, I reckon you just need to bite the bullet and back the guys. I mean, I reckon Harry Johnson Holmes will be an unreal tight end.
Yeah.
Unreal tight end. It's actually so hard for me to see when they throw him back on loose end because he's doing so well. You know what I mean? And but that's it, mate. You need to learn the deep end. It's hard when you want to play a player, but you especially in front row, you go and make him try and learn at club level and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I reckon it's a good example. Like, look how good Jones is going, and yeah, fortunately, hopefully, in my opinion, hopefully he stays. That's a great example you just used.
Hey, what about you? Influences on you? Because I remember, like, we had breakfast, you, me, Ryan, and Palms when you guys were at Canberra years ago. And thankfully, I just remember meeting you guys and go, "Thank fuck, I'm not playing today." And watching you guys fuck the scrum up. So, talk to me about scrummaging influences for you guys.
Look, mate, for me, it's always been. I wouldn't say. Pop Palm, to be honest with you, mate, Pop Palms had a massive influence on that. Like the way Palms approach the scrums, the way mate, he's a scientist. You know what I mean? The way he thinks about. I mean, look compared to the scrum last year, the Brumbies were good, but compared to this year and years past, Palms installed that mentality at the Brumbies since he was there, and I think he's one of the biggest people that I can look at, like how he broke down a scrum, how mentally it is. And for Palms, it was also a fact of, it's a pride thing. Like you'd fume if you go backwards, and that's why he never almost went back. And I think that I've installed at me, like it's a pride thing for me, mate. Like it's a respect thing. Like I really, if I get pushed back in the scrum in a game, I'm out of the game. I don't even want to play. You know what I mean? So I think it just comes down to a pride thing for me.
So how did you guys work out who was going to play loose head and tight head? Because obviously twin brother Ruan is a tight head prop.
Yeah. No, it actually, we actually just decided one day at club level, and under 19 level, he played mostly tight and I played loose head, but we weren't convinced. But one day we just turned up the Chiefs and said, "Okay, you're going to play tight, I'll play loose head," and we just stuck with it basically.
That was as simple as that.
Yeah, as simple as that. We didn't really care.
Mate, what about going to the Reds? Who ran the scrum up in Queensland?
Look, coaches, I think Slips did a great job. I still believe till today Slips is one of the best props in the world. You know what I mean? And yeah, and just Slips wasn't a man of big words, but he worked his ass off, mate. Like I took a lot from him, and and obviously Cameron Lillicrap, the scrum coach there, he was also installed that toughness, mentality, toughness, and also a pride thing for us. And that's why I think we had such a good 3 years when I was there as well. How the boys are going now? We just really, really took pride in the scrum.
Mate, I look at anyone that plays 100 Wallaby games or test matches is amazing. Anyone that does it in the front row is incredible. So I don't think James Slipper gets the credit he deserves in this country.
No, 100%. No, I totally agree with you, mate. I still firmly believe today that Slips is, for me, I would call it out the best loose head prop in the world. He is massively underrated, and people don't understand what an influence he has in a team and that sort of stuff. So it's unbelievable how he's still going. I mean, he's only 32 years old now. It's got another 3, 4, 5 years in him if he wants to. So but there's a reason he's been able to do that. Like just to week in and week out, just stay mentally in it. You know, some of us we get comfortable. All that sort of stuff. Especially me, the stages of my career that I got very comfortable. I was happy where I was. He just finds a way every week to turn up, and I think that's why he's achieved what he's achieved.
Tell me about Taniela Tupou, because I look at him and go, that is the perfect prop.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be the world's best prop, and I hope Australia managed to keep him, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, no, honestly, like the amount of offers he's getting overseas, it's exhausting. You know what I mean? But Nella, I always say he's a generation player. Like, I honestly don't believe we will get another Daniela in the next 10, 15 years. Like, he's exceptional, mate. He's the most blessed, talented player I've ever come across, and just such a down-to-earth guy. And he's in my opinion, he's the freakiest, most gifted player I've ever been a part of.
So part of my business, I do highlight reels for a lot of Super Rugby guys, and I don't do his highlight reel, but you could probably have, like most props, you get 5 minutes out of a season. I reckon he probably would have last 25 minutes, and most of it's like line breaks. But he can scrum. He can scrum as well.
Yeah, no, mate, it's ridiculous. There's but the biggest thing is if you can't restrict now, like, you need to. Sometimes he goes out of system, sometimes he does that. I don't think that's why he's doing so well at the race, because they allow him, because, mate, he's damaging. If you're going to restrict Nella, he's going to go into his shell, and you need to let him make the occasional mistake, hang on the wing, and because Thorny knows he damages things, so they can't restrict him in that aspect. So he's a freak.
Last year, you know how they did the extra time if you weren't winning, so you'd have like 80 minutes, and if it was a draw, you play extra 10 minutes. I think he made like a line break in the 5th minute of the extra time. I just watch it go, mate. It's like the guy's too nice to his girlfriend. He's making the rest of us look bad.
Yeah, no, he just always finds something in there to just keep going, and never complains. He's never I haven't heard him once complain on the field, not once.
Mate, hope he stays around. So with you mentioned before that you went through a bit of a darker period where you were thinking about not playing. How did you come through that? Did you get any outside help? Was it help from family?
Yeah, look, that's a good question, mate. I didn't get the reason why I went down. I didn't have any help when I was back in South Africa. I was very quiet, and I started drifting off from my family, and I started missing calls, and then that's when they realized there was something wrong. And my dad basically said he's going to come get me, or I just jump on the plane and go back. So I basically gave up on hiding and lying to them, and just got on the plane, left my contract as it is because I just had to. And then, but I for the first 6 months when I got back, my parents made me stay with them so I can get my feet. And then obviously, I started basically. I did go see a few people. I not now in America, but in Australia, I used to go see a fair bit of people, and which helped me because I did silence a lot of my troubles, and that sort of. Obviously, you don't think you have problems at that stage in your life, but it did started building up, and that's when I started making decision after decision, and I just got myself deeper into shit. So. But luckily I had a very big support from my family, and got through it. And still today, I still get those little times I dwell off and that sort of stuff. But then I find some way just to get back onto the wagon, which in the past I couldn't. So yeah,
mate. The reason I'm asking is because like I get a lot of teenagers that listen to this, and I think. I was talking to Carlo Tizzano yesterday, and he's like, when I first moved to Sydney, I was beyond depressed and devastated and just, moving away from home and network and all that sort of stuff. And I just think it's helpful hearing guys like you, talk about some of the struggles. Because everyone has struggles, and people think that they're in their own, people always think they're the only one struggling, but I think everyone struggles.
But it is. And I think especially in a rugby career, I think everyone goes through that. It just some stay there a bit longer, and some, it's massively important. Like now I have. You need to find something in your career and outside rugby that's more important than yourself, because I think it comes down to. I was a very selfish person. I didn't care who I had. I was living for pleasure and that sort of stuff. But once I started realizing I've found something. I've got my wife and my baby girl now, and you need to find something that's as important for you to get back onto that. If you don't have that, whatever it is, family or friends, or you need to find something that's very important for you, so that you don't want to let them down.
What happened? Well, congratulations on the baby, by the way.
So thanks, mate. Yeah, thank you.
Mate, how's that whole experience been?
No, it's been good. So my wife's a bit tired, and I got straight back into training after a couple of days, and so yeah, no, it's been good. She's sleeping well, eating well, everything.
But a good feeling.
Yeah, unreal, mate, unreal. Yeah, but daunting at stages. But
did you have a boy or girl?
A little girl.
Mate, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you going to do after you finish playing?
Look, yeah, that's a good question. I'm thinking of going into youth work, social work, and that sort of stuff. So, I feel I can add a bit of value there, and also gives me something after rugby that I can feel I can add value, because I think if you go into something, your whole career, you've added value in aspects. But if you go into something, that's my personal opinion for myself. If you go into something that you just go to do something because you have to do something, that sort of off the wagon stuff will start again. But if you add value and you do something important, I think things will go well for you.
Funny, BPA told me the same thing. So
yeah,
that's summed up at the Reds, mate.
yeah.
What happened to Broy? Are you guys still doing that?
No, we had to stop that. Like through COVID, it actually went well. We were in a matter of 2-3 months, we were in 14-15 shops around Australia. So, but then COVID hit, manufacture went down, and then we took a while to start it up again. And as soon as we started relaunching the new manufacturer, all this Los Angeles stuff happened. So I'm definitely continuing that in the future, but it's very hands-on. Like it's impossible to do that when you're in another country, and especially when you don't have the amount of money for marketing. You have to market all yourself and that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, no, we'll get back onto it again eventually.
Mate, I was looking forward to getting it down to Sydney. All your Instagram stuff, I was loving it.
Yeah. No, we'll make sure in the future, mate.
Mate, good stuff. What about studies? Have you done any studies outside of rugby?
Yeah, so I've done a sport development diploma. I've done a business diploma, and I'm busy with my youth work Cert 4, and I was halfway through my teaching degree, but obviously when I went back to the Stormers, I gave that up. So I basically just stopped that as well.
Is that all through? You've done all that through Rupa?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, mate, I've just got some random questions for you, and then I'll let you go back to your day off. Hey,
okay.
What do you get to do much in your days off, by the way?
No, not really, mate. Like now, obviously, it's a bit hard, but when I do, I like to go play a bit of golf, or that sort of stuff. Maybe have a big feed on the barbecue, and
Mate, have you met Adam Gilchrist yet? I meant to ask you that before, but I forgot.
Yeah, we were in camp in when was it, in December in Australia, and I met him briefly. So it was probably 30-second hi, how are you? But no, not again. We'll probably see him sometime this year.
And is he based in Australia?
Yeah, he's based in Australia.
I mean, I love the fact that he owns 2 rugby teams and both named them after himself.
I guess when you're half $500 million, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's right. Mate, what's your favourite touring destination or place you've been so far?
Mate, Queenstown. Queenstown was unbelievable. Probably everything, when you look at it, looks Photoshop. It was the most beautiful place I've ever seen. So, yeah, definitely Queenstown.
Sorry, did you say before you'd been to Japan, you played in Japan for Toyota?
Yes.
How was that experience? I should have asked you about that.
I love Japan. Unreal. Like, I wish I had another opportunity to go there. Just the people, everything is just unreal. The most friendliest people. The country just works, and I really, really enjoyed it. Obviously, the language was a big, was very hard, but yeah, if you get past that and learn a bit of the basics, it was an unbelievable experience. I could see myself live there forever.
What's your favorite food?
Probably sushi.
Okay.
Definitely sushi.
Out of anything, even like Buddha Wars, steak.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Maybe a good, nice slow cooked short rib. But beef short ribs. That's also up there. So.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. Do you listen to any podcasts or audio books or anything like that?
I've recently actually started. Yeah. I'm heavy into Joe Rogan. Yeah, but there's heaps, mate. I'll obviously get into this one. Where do you download yours?
Apple Podcast Store,
Okay.
Spotify, and on YouTube as well.
Okay, perfect. Now I'll definitely get into that because I really enjoy it. It calms me. I'm starting to listen a bit of every night before I go to sleep. So yeah, no, I enjoy it.
Nice, man. Documentaries, movies, TV shows.
Massive doco fan. Doco fan. Basically everything. I think I've seen a lot of the stuff, but also series like Sons of Anarchy, The Walking Dead. Love that sort of stuff as well.
What kind of docos are you into? Serial killer, UFOs?
Yeah, conspiracy theories, all that sort of everything. What do you call it? The UFOs, aliens, that Bob Lazar sort of stuff. I'm heavy into that.
So, are you into conspiracy theories?
I don't want to be, but some of them I believe. Yeah.
Mate, is the Earth flat?
No. That's not a true one, no.
But no. I had one of my Chilean mates who's a really smart dude. He was absolutely convinced that the Earth is flat.
Really? I actually saw on YouTube a thing about that, so it's interesting. I'll definitely watch it, but yeah, I'm scared I'm going to be convinced.
Mate, he sent me this video, and I'm watching it go, there's no, like, it just didn't make any sense. But in his head, that YouTube video that some random guys produced, he's absolutely convinced that the Earth's flat.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll just watch a bit of it because, like I said, I'll probably get convinced.
Mate, tell me about your brother. Throw him under the bus if you want to.
No, he's good, mate. Like he's I don't have a lot things I can think of now, but he's going well, mate. Like we don't talk a lot at this stage because obviously I'm so busy, but he's doing his sort of studies, and I think, to be honest with you, I think he's going to retire this year.
Okay.
And eventually, but I don't think he hasn't been out in public with that. But yeah, I think he'll retire this year.
Mate, but in terms of like the journey you guys have been on, you've pretty much been together 98%, 99% of the way. Like, you know, all that stuff that you guys have done together, does that make it better?
Better in what way?
Well, you get to share it with someone who's so close to you. Really.
Unbelievable, mate. We were very fortunate, and a lot of people think it's always been like a package deal, but it definitely hasn't. Like, I think the thing about it is coaches saw what they got out of the one, they knew they would get out of the other one. So it's been fortunate. Obviously started with Jake, and it's been unreal, mate. Like, obviously it would have been good if we finished off here together, but we've had our time together, which was awesome.
Is he going to get into coaching afterwards or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I think he's helping a bit out at Brothers at the moment. But yeah, I'm not too sure about him, but that's definitely something I want to look into in the future.
You're interested in coaching?
Yeah, no, definitely.
As professionally or more as like a club sort of thing?
Yeah,
or?
Wherever I can. And obviously if it ends up professionally, it ends up professionally, but I definitely see myself doing something like that.
That'd be good. Who's the best prop you've ever played against?
That's a good question. I'm going to tell you the truth. Scrummage-wise, it would be a good mate of mine, Frans Malherbe, the Springbok prop.
Okay.
Just heavy and aggressive, and always had to work extra hard against him. So he's definitely. But the most all-rounded prop would be Slips. Like Slips, yeah. I couldn't fault anything in his game. Like, yeah, and the work rate. I think I admire the work rate that man has. So,
would you change anything from your career, when you look back on it, do you look back and go, I enjoyed that as much as I could have?
Mate, 100%. If I could turn back anything, I would make myself realize how fortunate I am to be in the position, because I did take it for granted. I was happy where I was. And if I took it more seriously at stages and didn't take it for granted, I think I would have achieved more than I did. And if I just had the mindset of just keep working hard, not being complacent, I think that would be my biggest regret. So yeah, I'm 31 years old now, and I still struggle to do that. I still have to, after a good week of training, I can't relax. I still have to find something that for me, I would change that.
When you trying to find the right words to say this, it's too early in the morning. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self? If looking back on it,
yeah.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way: the only guy I've spoken to who probably wouldn't give themselves any advice was Kieran Reid, which you'd hope a guy like that would go, "Oh yeah, I look back and did it all as well as I could."
Yeah.
But looking back now, what advice would you give your younger self?
Mate, just keep working hard. Never get complacent. I use the word complacent very, very often, but never. It ends like this. Your career ends like this, and at the start of your career, you say, "No, next year I'll try. Next year I'll try." But never be complacent. Just find a way to keep yourself focused and set massive goals for yourself. And a lot of people set goals in the long term. I never set goals. I just went up training, got home, can't wait to get home. But smaller goals of 1 month, 2 months, and once you tick those off, the bigger goals will come. So, yeah, definitely that.
Mate, that's great. That's great. Let's finish on this. I keep forgetting to ask guys, and I've had a couple of props on now, but I always get asked by the young guys at our club because I'm coaching now. They're like, can you ask them about some of the physical stuff? So when you're at your absolute strongest, what are you benching? What are you squatting? What are you deadlifting?
Okay, so deadlift, I'll be honest with you, I haven't done that a lot in my career, but my squat was a 225.
Yeah.
And my bench press was 177.
So that squat as in just normal back squat, or is that a box squat?
No, back squat to the floor, past 90 degrees.
225. And what about fitness stuff? I imagine you're super fit, good at Broncos and beat tests.
Yeah, no, I was at a stage I was pretty good. Like my Bronco was a 504, my best time. Yeah, and
that is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, and I think my I can't remember my beat test at the Browns or something. I think a 12.8 or something like that. And
what were you weighing at the time?
I was quite light, 113. So it helped a bit.
Okay, that's not a small person still.
Yeah. So it's a bit slower these days, but yeah.
Mate, let's finish on that. Thanks so much for your time, mate. Okay. Mate, all the best. Best of luck with it. Thank you so much for the time, man. Appreciate it.
Any time, mate, and take care and good luck with everything.
Thanks, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, Chubby. Cheers, brother.
See you, bye. Bye.